To fully enjoy Give Me Mine, start at Chapter 1 and follow through to the most current video. To enhance the story, narration may be slightly different than the actual story in the book. Get your copy today and follow along. Enjoy. It was the third time in 2 weeks that Janay had to spend her lunch hour scrubbing white bitch off of her gym locker. It had been written with a black permanent magic marker, which made Janay's job a lot harder. It was no secret who had put it there. Everybody knew. The whole school was talking about how she had done it. But now, the whole school was not only talking, but laughing about how things are turned out for Precious. Smelling the fresh, citrus aroma of the all-purpose cleaner didn't make her empty stomach feel any better. She thought from the announcement on the PA this morning that she'd be having chicken patties, with french fries, mixed veggies, a fruit cup, and a carton of milk. But now, she was out of luck. And she would have to scrape up some loose change just to buy a decent meal for the day. They both sat in the principal's office under the watchful eye of the security guard, waiting for Mr. Griffin to return. They knew that any given moment, he'd come storming through his office door wearing his game face, and someone would have to feel his wrath. Precious fumbled frantically through her Coach purse until she found her compact. When she opened it, noticed her face, and instantly broke out into tears. And she started to hyperventilate after seeing how Janay left several different scars behind. And she was hitting her so hard that she even bust a blood vessel in her eye. Not to mention Janay's 2 thumbprints that were still visible on her neck. And she was all fucked up. The image Precious saw in her mirror was just too much for her to bear. Her beauty was temporarily taken away from her. And she had let her arrogance get her into some deep shit, and her pretty face had to pay the consequences. And she took one look and was speechless, yet so dramatic. But while she was busy clawing uselessly at Janay's hair, Janay was busy punching. After the security guard took some Polaroid snapshots of her wounds, he helped Precious control her breathing while he rubbed her back. And when Mr. Griffin entered his office, the blame was shifted towards Janay, of course. And it didn't take long for him to reach a decision. The only explanation Precious came up with was that Janay was jealous. Jealous of her grades, jealous of her hair, jealous of her clothes, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know why she hates me, Mr. Griffin. I'm always nice to people like her. Every time I can't fit my old clothes anymore, my mother always gives them the goodwill. I swear I'm a nice person. I swear. You know that I am, Mr. Griffin. Man, she went on and on with excuses and tears until Janay felt sick to her stomach. Precious sounded so ridiculous, but he bought it. And Janay didn't try to prove her innocence as best as she could, because she knew what the outcome would be. It helped to have parents on the PTA and participate in fundraisers and donate thousands of dollars to the school. That just wasn't the case for Janay. Diane couldn't remember her birth date, let alone parent-teacher conference. And she was a mother once, but now, to Janay, she was just Diane. And she had been just Diane for the past 2 years of Janay's life. 2 years ago was when she became curious to know what was out there on the other side of that project door. Out there in those same streets she used to warn Janay about. Now, she had a $20 a day habit that had become #1 priority in her life. And that habit came before everything, and she sacrificed everything for it. And she sacrificed her beautiful body. She sacrificed her 3-year supervisor position at Bank One. She sacrificed all the furnishings in their home, and she even sacrificed their little hoopty Honda Accord that got them from point A to B. And she even sacrificed the family dog Buster. Janay had to pack his shit up and send him on his way too. They just couldn't afford him anymore. But the most important thing that was neglected was Janay. And being so preoccupied with trying to maintain a life of her own and to just find daily nourishment, Janay couldn't do much to help her mother. The only thing that Janay had to hold on to was the home that she had grown up in, their home in West Lawn Projects. And it was her duty to find $27 a month for rent if she wanted to remain a tenant. Thank God for Section 8. And it was a lot for a 15-year-old to endure, but it kept her strong. It kept her motivated and wanting more. She had no friends, no goals, no dreams or anything to look forward to in her life besides tough luck. But still, she couldn't be stopped from moving forward. So after Mr. Griffin listened to Precious vent for 20 minutes without coming up for air, he sent her back to class with just a verbal warning. And all beat up. And she knew just what to do. And she was so dramatic with the tears and how to make her breathing escalate. And she was off the hook. As she was leaving his office, she passed a sneaky, devilish look in Janay's direction just to let her know that all the tears had gotten her a measly slap on the wrist. But Janay didn't cry. And that's probably why she wasn't so lucky. She was headed somewhere else. She watched Mr. Griffin print her name, Janay Nicolay, on a 5-day suspension form which requested to see a parent before she could return to school. She knew from past experiences that Diane wasn't going to bring her back to school and reinstate her. And she wasn't sure if she wanted her to with her fucked up condition. Diane had hit rock bottom and looked like shit. And she couldn't even figure out whether the tags on her clothes went inside or outside. And she didn't care if her left shoe was on her right foot or vice versa. Any hour of the day, she could be seen wearing her favorite pair of spandex pants with a turtleneck sweater dress thing. On her feet, she wore a pair of long golden sneakers. And she liked to have them shits tied way too tight. And she was always walking fast around the neighborhood like her toes were on fire. Janay thought the mere sight of her mother was disgusting. But Janay stopped caring a long time ago, and she started using her energy for her own well-being. She promised herself that the next time she got into trouble at school and needed a parent to escort her back, she would just throw in the towel. She was way too young to be worrying about a place to stay, a meal to eat, and a safe place to get a half-decent education. Something had to give. Leaving school was what she thought was the best thing due to her situation. In the back of her mind, she knew it was wrong, but what was she to do? Her young mind was telling her that her mother didn't care, so why should she? She wasn't going to tell those nosy-ass counselors at school about her living situations. They would just make things harder for her. And she was 15 and too old to be getting tossed from foster home to foster home, which is what their solution would be. So she made the choice to quit. Now, the previous 2 years of her life had prepared her for this day. Shit, she had been taking care of herself and sometimes Diane too if she felt like it. And they both were still alive, so she had to be doing something right. And she saw Precious walking down the hallway, and she thought about giving her a quick round two before she walked out of the doors of Riverside High School forever. But it wasn't worth amusing the handful of students passing through the halls. She wanted not only her gym class, but the whole entire school to see her beat the hell out of Precious. Her insides were burning with envy because that tramp had everything. And Janay, she had absolutely nothing. She let her insides cool down for a few seconds, but before Precious was out of sight, Janay screamed, "You lucky bitch!" down the hallway and threw her middle finger up into the air at her enemy. Precious looked up at Janay from afar, and she gave her the same sneaky grin that she had just given her before the principal released them both from his office. Janay accepted it, tried not to get herself angry all over again, then she walked out of school forever.
Hit that like and subscribe. We appreciate you.
If you with it, I appreciate. I wanna tell you a story.